what do you think of that term of empowerment reset?
I do think they can be buzzwords that are thrown around, but I also do feel like that is something that we all really need. And it's something that, we could put a focus on, a daily focus on our own personal empowerment and resetting our energy. So I would say I would walk people through getting present and then a release process. Let's release the stress of today. Let's release what you've been carrying on your shoulders the last month and year, and walk through some visuals on just letting go and how what does that look like to energetically release something. And so, walk them through that, and then walking people into a space where they could just imagine, what if I felt 5% more empowered, or 5% more in charge of my day, in charge of my experience, in charge of my emotions and my feelings. And just leading people to imagine what that would feel like. And even if you've never felt it, what would you want it to feel like? And as soon as we can start attuning to that energy, and okay, I get that. And so then we start to set our radar on that, and that becomes kind of the target, right? Oh, I'm feeling that energy again. This is good. I might feel afraid. It's new, but I remember this energy, right? We start attuning to it. So it's probably how I would walk people through a guided experience.
Yeah, I kind of love this sense of, I'm thinking like the way I love words because I say, from the somatic perspective that our our bodies know the experience they're having, like create our language, our bodies create
Mhm.
our language, or our energy creates a language. And empower linked with this in charge and power. Like, where am I in? How can I be more in charge of my day? I love it. And like that, when we can learn that, like that way that our energy is moving, or like that feeling inside, and attune to that, then we can know when we're in charge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, we might not have ever felt that in our lives before. So just, being guided into experience where you can play around with that feeling, and start to imagine it. And then we know from that space we can create more of it.
Yeah. Oh, I really love what we're talking about here. This is giving me excitement because I was like, as well, charge, like that charge. Yeah, maybe we've never had that feeling of that charge before. And the way we're sometimes a lot oriented to, or maybe this goes back to the shadow thing, where we feel we need to be in control. But in
Hmm.
control might just be different than in charge.
Spot on. Absolutely. There is a shadow side of being in control, right?
Yes,
Versus I am in charge of my day. Just even saying that, I can feel the different energy of the two.
me
This one makes
too.
me sit up, while this one's like, oh, it's so much work to try to control everything.
Right, controlling is like contracting, charging,
Yes.
like how am I? Yeah. Like,
The chariot, charge forward.
uh-huh, okay. You know those things. Amazing, Jen. Wonderful. Empowerment reset. I'll be so looking forward to this.
Yay, me too.
Yay. So, say a little more about, did the alignment map manifestation rituals for creating the life you desire as your workshop at the weekend getaway. That's a tall order, is what I'm
Yes.
gonna say.
Yes.
And there's like words in there that I feel like I want to hear. We're just talking about how the last time you were at the weekend getaway, so much of the feedback about people's experiences with you was that you really had this like profound way of simplifying things and making it like
Mhm.
accessible. And that's really important to us for the community. So words like alignment, manifestation,
Mhm.
desire, even, how would you bring these into terms where we could just all really understand what it is you're touching on?
Yeah, such a good question. So let me start by kind of talking about a little bit the work that I do, especially what I'm really focused on currently,
Hmm.
is really about helping people understand their emotional and energetic patterns, and the fact that they are shaping our life and our experience. And once we understand them, then we can go in and start making some real sustainable change. And I became very interested in what I would call the shadow side of manifestation. So, this is where we have done all the things, right? We have done the rituals, we have tried all of the methods, all the buzzwords in manifestation. We've written our goals 3, 6, and 9 times a day, and all the meditations, all the books, and we still feel stuck
Yep.
and nothing's happening. And we're still repeating these same patterns and same relationships and same jobs and experiences. And I see where that leads. I went through this journey myself big time. And all of my clients, I see where it can lead us to then start asking, what's so wrong with me? Why is manifestation working for this person and I can't seem to, figure it out? And that is when we do need to go inside, and that's where we look at those patterns that heavily impact our experiences. And again, once we understand that, then we can start changing it. Then we can start understanding, what does alignment even feel like? So, can I paint a picture for a moment? I think this could help. Okay, so imagine waking up in the morning and you reach for your phone after hitting snooze one too many times. You're scrolling on social media, so you're already starting to compare your life to everybody else's. So you're already stressed, depressed, or feeling like a mess before you even wake up. And then think about the rest of the morning. You go have to pick an outfit out for the day. Let's say you have to go to work for a job you just are not happy in, and you're picking out your clothes. You go through your daily judgment and shame spiral, right? Because your clothes don't fit the way you want them to. And you go through that daunting task of getting ready. Let's say you've got other humans you've got to get out of the house with you, and you're running late, you can't find your keys, you're ready to scream at everybody. Then let's say you get into traffic. Let's not even talk about that, right? It's everywhere, it's overwhelming, you're screaming profanities at people. Then you roll up to work and you have those thoughts before you go in of, I'm going to be stuck here for the rest of my life. And then you go in and your email's blowing up before you even sit down. All of this has happened within, let's say, 2 to 3 hours of waking up. And to me, that's wild. And the reason I know that is because I lived that for so long, month after month, year after year, day after day. And I also know, having lived that so long, it is also possible to change it even before the circumstances change, which was a huge thing for me, because that's normally what we're looking for. I'll be happy when these things change, right? And so this is really what this work is about, these patterns. We go the shame spiral I was talking about. Let's say you've been doing that every day for the last couple of years. It is going to take more than one affirmation and more than one journaling session to really repattern that habit. And so it became important to me to find a way to really reset my mind, my energy, and my willingness to take action. And starting to look at my daily routine and ritualize my daily routine to match up to what I actually desired was so profound and huge for me. And so it really starts with taking a good, honest look at your daily routine, where your thoughts are going, your actions, are you setting intentions, rather than letting life take us for a ride.
Absolutely. I love this so much because also, I have an understanding of it from my perspective as a somatic therapist that it really relates to what you're saying. That shadow side is the subconscious and it's patterned from the last few, however many years, but also it could be our entire lives and from things that, we're not aware of shaped us. But the way to change it is to become aware and to encourage that willingness, like encourage what is in shadow or hiding or subconscious to become conscious. And
Exactly.
I love that you say like through the emotional energetics, like what's happening in you, not just what are you doing, not just like are you
Yeah.
starting your day with meditation and this and that, all wonderful, but really like what's happening in you that is shaping your life. And
Hmm.
yeah, love that.
I love too that you brought up, waking up and doing meditation and all of the things. And the way that I work through this process, again, why it's so important to know your patterns is I'm not always going to want to wake up and stir magic in my coffee. I might need to be grumpy for a few minutes, right? And so you can do this in a way that you learn to flow with it because you're still going to have natural patterns and natural cycles. And
And
if you
emotions.
under,
We're not like getting rid
yes,
of emotions. It's informative and
exactly.
we want to move with it.
Exactly. And being aware, when I wake up grumpy, I'm at least very aware of why am I grumpy? How long am I willing to hold this? But my target is also still set on my manifestation goals, those desires, the alignment we all talk about, the things I really want to experience, feel, create in my life. My foundation is strong. So I know one bad day, one bad week, a bad year is not going to knock me off my progress. It's going to just change how I move through that so
Yeah.
that it complements life's ups and downs. That was so important to me because I've had, it's been a long journey learning about manifestation, and I got caught up in all the hype the first 5, 6, 7 years and
Yeah.
led to a lot of disappointment. So I also need to be able to flow. I'm not always going to feel the same, and I'm not always going to want to do a 15 minute in the morning, right?
Yeah.
So yes.
And that this is part of what's important for us to understand of that, you know, way we move through the world as human beings. Like that's why
Hmm.
manifestation, unless we're with the flow and that we're not going to be able to, bring it into our lives in a way that's
Right.
natural, even,
Yes.
like we're just
Yes.
talking about what's natural.
Hmm.
And wait, before I forget, I heard, you mentioned desire. And I also really want to pause there because that's another pretty packed word. And that I think there's again a natural way to be in touch with what's meant by desire. And I'm curious from you of like how you've worked with people. What do you feel are the themes that you do speak to and could speak to around what really is desire for us? Like, what does it encompass?
Hmm. Oh, such a good question with big answers.
Right? I
But to
know.
to try and simplify, it is really again getting, we could say, the programming that we've learned, the conditioning, the beliefs we've established over long periods of time. Those things often bury desire,
Mm,
right? We're so focused and attuned to all of that programming that it's just buried underneath the desire. So that's that first step of how am I even moving about my day? And then through that, you do start to realize all the things you don't like. And maybe I was avoiding because I really don't like these things. I don't want to think about it. However, looking at that first helps you realize what you do want. So I'll never say, I can help you find your desires in one session because it is a journey, right?
yeah.
We go through those shadows and those other things that can be on top of that. And so I think clarity leads us to what we do desire, what we coming into contact and understanding with what we don't want will help us figure out what do I even want.
Yeah,
And it
what?
will also help you. Sometimes I've also learned we can be so attached to a manifestation, something we want to happen in our life for so long, we don't even stop to realize, oh, that's an outdated desire. That's an outdated want. I don't even really actually want that thing anymore. So that's why we need to stop and just take a look at day to day. And all of that will help you uncover desires, I believe.
Yeah. Uncover is so key there because over time burying that visual is so right on, I feel that
Mm-hmm.
things do bury and that we don't really even have access to. So some people
Right.
kind of we land in a place we all do at times in our lives where we're like, wait, I'm not even really feeling desire or like what do I
Mm-hmm.
even want in my life? Or, I don't know what direction to go. But by uncovering, like taking off I'm going to say schlock,
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
that's when we start to be able to have access and go, oh my God, like I just discovered a true desire of mine.
Hmm.
And it's such a beautiful process.
Oh, absolutely. And then we need to have the confidence and the clarity to start going after that desire. How do I create that in my life? Right? Because then there's the worthiness that can also land on top of that. We might have these desires, but I might not feel innately that I'm good enough for it. So then that's the next layer of digging. And that leads us to starting to take those action steps to create that reality we want to experience. It's a journey.
It's a journey. All right. I love this. And so maybe if you could tell people who, or someone who hasn't necessarily been to like a workshop or like a retreat and gone to a workshop, what is that? And you did them 2 years ago at the Rise Gathering weekend already. It was almost 2 years ago. What would you say this experience is like doing this in a group, and what kind of things you have them do in order to get in touch with and start to discover?
Well, first of all, I love doing these activities in a group. I have seen it again and again and again where there's a reason we all gather in that room. And I believe we all have similar energies or similar codes or downloads, you could say, connections, to put it simply, some connections that support each other. And we're so surprised by that. And so I love doing that in a group, first of all, and in a space like at the Rise Retreat, where we're all, showing up as willing and as ready as we are to be vulnerable. And we'll actually have hands-on experience so that we can feel these energies. I am very experiential in my work and in my own practice. I want to experience it. I want to feel it. So we'll talk a little bit, then we'll do, kind of we will do a little ritual together, but excuse me, we will also do part of the ritual is going to be looking at daily routine. So there's actually going to be a map that everybody can write on, of course, because I love my workbooks. I'll be bringing them from Arizona with me, and a map where people can really start physically, putting on pen to paper what the daily routine really looks like for them, and what they want it to look like. So we'll work together, but also individually on our own journey. There's always time for questions, very interactive. I had a great group last time, loved all the questions because other people have the same questions. So I love that, we got to answer a little bit of everything.
Together. Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful. So you're returning for your second time, and you have said, it was just so great for
So
me.
excited.
Like, yeah, so excited. We're saying that excitement, it's palpable. But and you said it was so great for me to be there. And I just want to emphasize that, we know, although you might be facilitating a workshop, we're all the same, we're all people. So
Mm-hmm.
you yourself received, things from the
So
experience,
much.
right? And so if you were to
Yes.
um, actually tell someone who's considering coming, like, or what would you say to someone who is considering coming? Like,
Go, first of all, absolute yes.
and what would
But
yeah,
I would say the thing that I really love, because I was also nervous coming into it, this was a new thing for me as well. Um, and I would say, again, come as open as you are willing and comfortable being, and be yourself. Absolutely. And it's a space where you might come alone, you might come with friends, but women and people and souls of all walks of life, right? Ages, stages, and walks of life show up at this event. And it's hard to put words to the energy and the experience. But everybody was welcome. And you might go alone, but you leave feeling very connected, which was something that I absolutely felt.
yay,
Yes.
me too.
Yes. I was
Every
so
time,
happy to hear Rise was back. So happy.
yay. All right. Well, thank you for coming back to the weekend getaway and for
Thank
being
you for having
excited
me.
about facilitating. And we really look forward to being with you there.
Thank you. Me too.